Welcome to Xtra presented by VDG Sports. I'm your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. Noobs, rookies, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for giving me a chance. Regulars, we back at it again. We do what we do. You know the rest. You know the rest. And non-verbal peeps, I just want to say it out loud because we carry on non-verbally. We carry on non-verbally. I mentioned many moons ago, so definitely over a year, many moons ago, how I wanted to and how I always kept all of the same data points, if not more data points than that I'm actually getting tracked on, or, you surf the web and there's permission for that, permission for this, permission. Well, it's the same information that they have that they can sell to advertisers or use to determine who I am. I use that same data points and I use that same data to basically help me pinpoint when, where, why, how possibly something changed or something occurred that's affecting me in a different way. Meaning, for a few weeks or a few days, basically, the motivation wasn't there anymore. My motivation was low. In a sense, was like, all right, okay. And I wasn't just muddling through. No. It was more so, it was like, okay, yeah, I guess. And it wasn't me just striving and just taking something by the horns. I like that metaphor. But just taking something and being assertive and being not necessarily confidence, because it had really nothing to do with confidence. Just being willing, motivated, and just wanting to, meaning going above and beyond. So there's levels to that. Because I was actually, doing what I wanted to do and what have you, and being forceful, but not necessarily assertive in the ways that I would normally be, going above the minimum and going just above that as well. And so I started to look back at my data. I was like, let me pinpoint, let me figure out what's happening or what happened, and just find a map or map out this little exercise and see where it leads. I'm not suggesting that you do this. I'm not suggesting that you go down my rabbit hole. But if you would like to do this for yourself, you can go down your own rabbit hole, just as long as you have all the data that you need. And I have just about every single data point that's relevant, even a lot that's not relevant as well. And it led me to start off with, okay, the health side, which is pretty much where I ended, because there were just so many answers there. Well, I guess it's all health related, huh? Yeah. So I went down the health side. More specifically, I started with the exercise. Looked at that. Okay, nothing's really strange. Nothing's really different. Nothing's really out of place and out of whack on the exercise part, the working out part. All of that looks good. All of that looks fine. Then I went to the eating part, and that's where things started to look a little bit off. things started to look a little bit off in my, let's just say my diet. And I don't mean diet like I'm on a diet. I mean diet in a scientific way, I mean the food that you eat, the food that you consume. My diet, it was all over the map. Things that, let's just say I normally didn't eat, I was eating more of and what have you. And it was just a mess. It was a complete mess. And so I pinpointed the time, the date, or where it became a mess. I was like, okay, I can utilize this moving forward. Put you to the side. Okay. Note to self. Definitely wasn't out loud. Inner monologue. And from that, I went to sleep. And from there, I went to sleep. And I looked at sleep, and sleep was just as bad as the eating. Sleep was just as bad as the eating. And it was a mess. It was a mess. Granted, I know, Regs. It's not that I stopped doing all the things that I would normally do, and I'm still not part of Team No Sleep. It was just that the sleep was it was broken. It wasn't solid. I was getting more hours on some days, less on other days, or a cumulative effect where I was actually getting the amount that I needed, but it was broken. It wasn't consistent one way or the other. And I pinpointed where it started then. So now I have another reference point to go off of. Then I went to basically things that I watched or things that I did around the two data points that I have. And I looked. It was definitely was a lot going on. Definitely a lot going on as me trying to catch up with certain shows, me watching certain sporting events that I probably shouldn't have been watching because it didn't bring me joy. It did not bring me joy. So I looked at that, and that gave me more information, more data for me to use and to be able to use to say, hey, this is it right here. And so I looked at that. And then it was a few more things. That I looked at. I went through my calendar and I looked at certain events in my calendar. And from there, I added those data points. And now I have a complete picture of when things actually started going wrong and when things actually felt wrong and when things actually was wrong. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that seems about accurate. That seems about accurate that all of that pretty much was around the same time. All of that was around the same date. And it all made sense. And it was all ready and available to me because I was keeping and I am keeping the same information, the same data that everyone else that's into the interwebs, the internet, that hit that agree button, and don't read the rest of the print, or don't read the rest of some of them make you actually scroll down, and you just scroll down and then you hit it anyway. But if you try to hit it before you scroll down, it won't let you. So at least you attempt, or at least they get you to attempt to like see it as you have it fly down. But hey, nobody reads that unless you are a lawyer. Nobody reads that unless you are a lawyer. And that is the story that I am sticking to. And that basically is the story that I'm sticking to. And with all this information, with all this data I had to go back, and I went back even further, or I added more information too, because I wanted the map to be extremely clear. I wanted the picture to be painted out completely. Even though I'm painting by numbers, and using my Crayola crayons and what have you, I wanted a complete picture. I wanted the complete job. So that's when I went and I looked back in the history of the weather. Went back, looked at the history of the weather, and BINGO, or domino. Yeah, that's what that spells. Domino. And that's when the light bulb came on and the bells and the whistles was flashing. I was doing my happy dance. I was singing like a bird. Because that right there confirmed everything that that right there confirmed all of the data, all of the information that led me to the conclusion that I had. And I was like, that's it. That is it. That's what I assumed. But now I actually have all of the evidence that could lead and point me to my conclusion even further. But no, it's not confirmation bias, because I looked at every single thing and was able to pinpoint it back to the start of that and the end of it as well. And now everything is okay. Everything is fine. Motivation is on level 1 of a, one in. Yeah, don't even try. Don't even try. Don't try. So now I'm just back in the cut, bobbing my head. I ain't doing the happy dance now. I'm just soaking up the W, soaking up the victory, just knowing that I was correct with my assumption, but my anticipation game was always on 100. And intuition. I listened to intuition, and I definitely believe some intuition. So that also was another indicator that I was on the right path, and definitely right with that hypothesis, I should say. With that hypothesis. Basically, let's just say, even if it never really gets cold, but it's the time of the year where it's at least chilly, it shouldn't be hot. When it's hot, it throws everything off. Well, it threw my world off. And that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to. That's what all the evidence point to. A complete change in the weather where it was just miserable. And I don't like hot weather. I don't like it hot. I like it cold. Regs, you knew that. Noobs, now you know. But you can go back and review some of the historical documents to get a better understanding. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check out Xtra at xtra.vdgsports.com. This episode is not being sponsored by VinceDouglasGregory.com. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, and everything in between. Basically, all things Vince. There's a YouTube as well. VDG Sports. Like, subscribe, share, do whatever it is you do there. Comment if you must, comment if you may. You know what time it is. Peace. Oh, yeah. Not doing it that long either.